It looks like a Bible.
Yeah.
No, it's not a Bible. It was a fun idea.
Genesis.
The next time, maybe for second season. Congratulations for the episode. I loved it.
Thank you.
And my first question is for you, Patrick. And I guess that it's not so easy going to the sets and start to play a role. And what was your inspiration for the role? And how did you develop your character for this?
Both the development and the inspiration came from the source material. I mean, I got a hold of the first few issues of the comic that were out at the time we started to audition for it, which gave me a good idea of Kyle's sort of physicality, the way that, Robert and Paul Azaceta were trying to communicate, Kyle to the reader, which is important. And then reading the initial scripts and auditioning with these guys, and then moving on to rehearsal, it really illuminated a lot of the character for me, and that's most of my preparation.
In fact, for example, in Gone Girl, your character was very similar to the novel. And I want to ask you, can you tell me the difference between taking cue from a comic book compared to a novel? Because I think that has a huge difference. What is the difference? Take inspiration.
I'd say it's pretty similar. The conduit through which you view it is usually the director and their vision. So it's mostly up to it's up to them. It's whoever's creating the film or the television show is going to have things that they want to keep the same and things that they want you to expand on and bring your own sort of ideas to. And so for Gone Girl, it was very much up to David Fincher, and he wanted what he wanted, and there's no room for negotiation. But with Robert and Adam Wingard, there was, we got a lot sussed out sort of in rehearsal, and a lot of it is fairly specific. The writing is clear enough and well done enough that it really communicates what it wants.
Okay, Philip, you played the role of a reverend. In the past, we've seen a lot of religious figures on both movies and TV series. Can you tell me who's been your inspiration for this role?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really have anybody in mind. If anything, I suppose I purposely avoided any reference to anybody. I felt that the character was so well drawn out from the page in many respects that I tend to be quite a very instinctive sort of actor if I get an idea for something. And as I say, the writing was so. When I was sent the sides for the audition, excuse me, the two scenes they sent were so powerful that it gave me a strong sense of who this man was. So I just went with that really, and stuck with that process. And so it's basically all my own work. I was my own inspiration.
Good. Wrenn, Megan's relationship with Kyle is very complex because she keeps taking care of him despite her husband's opposition, and how will it affects their marriage? And can you give us some clues for the next episodes about this situation with him and with your husband?
Well, I think Megan kind of refuses to let Kyle go down the Stark road. I think she feels like she's gonna drag him back into the world, the light of the world, kicking and screaming if she has to. Although she'd rather kind of make a joke about it to kind of, I guess, get the ball rolling. And then I think it's really tricky because I think she's really the one person that feels like she can stand up for Kyle. But I think she's very much caught in the middle because she feels probably there must be some truth to what happened, but it doesn't actually match up with the person that she knows. So I feel like she's very much kind of straddling that line of defending him, but also acknowledging that something really drastic and terrible and tragic happened. And I think it is really a source of tension in Meghan and Mark's marriage, because I think Mark very much is someone who wants to protect his family. And also something that's really interesting that David Denman has said is that he feels like part of, it's not just that Mark hates Kyle, but that part of, I think his distrust of Kyle comes from the fact that he feels like Mark maybe had an abusive father. So he's kind of got like a hair trigger about adults being abusive towards children. So, it's definitely something that carries out through the season.
Okay, for all of you, how was your relationship with Robert Kirkman before and during the shoot?
We're best buds.
Okay.
We talk all the time.
Okay.
No, actually, I knew of The Walking Dead, but I didn't know Robert Kirkman's name per se, and I didn't actually realize who he was until after the audition. I kind of do that on purpose because I don't want to psych myself out. But he's really lovely. He's really down to earth. He's really easy to talk to. He has opinions, but they're not. He's not kind of dogmatic about them.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel strongly about something, I feel like he'll tell you, but there's room for creative license. You guys know more.
He is very quiet. I didn't realize which one he was because I'd never seen a picture of him before.
Okay.
I went into the audition, and he's so quiet and just like in the background. I like it took me probably 2 or 3 sessions to be like, oh, that's Robert Kirkman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has a very specific vision, and the writing was good enough to communicate that. So he was just mostly supportive.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, what was really refreshing was the fact that he basically said to all of us that you guys know how to make TV shows and I know how to write comic books. So go and do it justice. So hopefully we've tried to.
So at this point, I can't help mentioning The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, 2 big brothers of your series. Do you feel any pressure for the success of these 2 big series?
I think we have I think it sets us up with a very good platform, lots of good power assists. I think it's mostly opportunities that it creates. I mean, obviously, the more opportunity we have to tell the stories of this series, the better. And so, we've talked about The Walking Dead and how successful that's been, and Robert's now taking what he learned from that and applying it to this new baby of his. So, I think it's all very exciting, and it comes with a certain standard and prestige that I think Robert is actually stepping up at this point.
Good. The last question is, I suppose that the atmosphere on the set wasn't as grim as we see in the series. How was your way to exorcise the dark themes of these scenes? Some funny moments.
Well, in the first episode, right, the kid who plays the 10-year-old boy, his name is Gabriel Bateman,
Okay.
and he's a little pro. Like, he is a swish, quick little dude, and he committed 110% all the time from the moment we met him, and he started auditioning through rehearsals, off camera, on camera. It didn't matter. He was there 100% of the time, and there's the scene where we have a bit of an altercation, that sort of thing, and we figured out a few days before, like, okay, he's gonna bite Kyle. We're gonna have him bite Kyle because it's got to start bleeding, right? So they fit this whole mouthpiece to Gabriel's top and bottom teeth so that he wouldn't actually break the skin on my hand. And Gabriel took it and he's game for anything. And so he puts it in and he tries it on and he grabs my arm and he starts biting my hand and he's like, how's that? Is that too much? And I was like, and I kind of let him go a little harder. And I was like, okay, right there, that hurts a lot, and he's like, okay, I won't bite any harder than that. But he's Gabriel. And so they called action and he grabbed my hand and I swear to God, he broke my hand or something like that. We had to do it a lot of times too. And he never half commits. So even with that mouthpiece on, it was like I couldn't make a fist. My pinky was always straight for like 2 days after that. He's brutal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.